Alright, Fantasy Flight gamers, flyers, NBN
Every time.
Enners. Welcome back. Welcome back to the lair, the hangout.
Welcome back to our consistent intros.
Cave.
Our unwavering continuity right now.
Yeah. Well, we all know why you came here today or tomorrow, but we all know why and what we're going to give you. It's blah, 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 blah. This is the NBN review.
Hey! We got there.
You lost me, and I'm a host.
Guys, we're going to talk about NBN today. I'm not even going to cut that. Usually it's all it's cut out.
Normally he makes himself flawless. He's the one who edits all this stuff.
That was good. That was
so
good.
Thanks a bunch for tuning in. Like and subscribe. I better say that first in case you peter off towards the end. It's really important that you
do it now before we continue.
Yeah, just
We'll take a second.
We'll take a second.
Take a second.
Like, subscribe.
Okay, we're good.
We're good.
We're good.
They're good. Yeah, they're in. Go.
Guys, thanks very much for your like and subscribe. We really appreciate that. Let's get into the agendas first of this NBN class. Now, these cards, I think we can all agree that before the spin cycle, NBN was, and where are they now?
Oh, we're gonna do this.
Oh.
Yeah, NBN was about here, and now they're
they're pretty much top tier of the handle. Even going in right now, a lot of these cards are still the backbone of NBN decks. So let's see what we got. Well, we're not really starting too strong.
Yeah.
Character assassination is our first agenda here. When you score it, trash one resource that cannot be prevented. A 4/2.
You get Katie Jones in your sight, and then you just pull the trigger.
I'm going to start because I will stay true to what I said when this first came out, in that NBN has the least amount of trouble trashing resources, so having an agenda that trashes a resource on top of that just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I'll usually reach for basically anything else at that point.
I liked it. I used it a couple times. It was nice to experiment with and to throw things off, but it was very situational. A lot of decks are, rushing in to do a bunch of things, and this is an agenda that I found you kind of wanted to keep in your hand because you wanted to score it when there was a resource out there, but you also were like, I don't want to hold on to it too long because what if I draw into agendas? So it really gave me a lot of mixed feelings. I'm not running it today, so if that's the opinion of it.
I think as far as a 4/2 goes, we definitely seem better. I mean, in this set, we got NAPD, which kind of was just like blew almost all these out of the water. But I mean, if we're to compare this to other 4/2s, I know that Nisi Mark II is from the core set, and we all know the core set's a little bit more overpowered than the rest of the cards, but it's way better, like leaps and bounds better than this. And just like Jamie said, like, it's pretty situational. I mean, they have to have a resource.
Would you take this or Corporate War?
I think I'd take this.
Would you take this?
Because I know what you said, like, just to counter your point, and not trying to bleed in too much to this card, but yeah, they can trash a lot of resources, but most of that is a reaction kind of thing. So I think that if I'm ending my turn and there's, $9 on Katie Jones, I'm feeling pretty confident that you're not going to get rid of it. I know that you have C-Source or whatever, but I'm feeling pretty confident that I can keep it. This kind of just throws that away, so that's a little bit of merit, I think.
I think it's hard to find room in a NBN agenda suite right now for something like this. Like
it's basically
Scripts and Beal. Scripts and Beal, you got those in there.
NAPDs to stop from scoring, and then you're breaking news to trash resources.
If you're playing NBN, you're playing the quick advance style. So, you've got your Astros, you've got your Beal, and you got your NAPDs in there, and, maybe a breaking news if that's your, so to speak. And this is just... I think this will see better play when that whole style of NBN kind of.
The kind of control-y style that we're seeing, like where they have to pay money for every extra subroutine and all that jazz.
When that
like,
style becomes more dominant and NBN becomes a longer, like a stretched out horizontally style game,
this will be played for sure.
This will come in because then, you know, we could see more resources abundance, and we weren't really seeing a resource abundant style of play. I know if you're playing the Ian Sterling decks and stuff that were later at the end of this cycle, that's a one-off. Like obviously, if you know Ian has a zillion resources going on to do his combos and make monies, and that's just the style of deck that Ian is. And this could definitely disrupt an Ian Sterling, but I mean at that point you could already be winning the game if you didn't have this in there.
That's the trade-off.
I think a huge thing that we can talk about is it can't be prevented, so you can't fall guy whatever resource is in. So that's kind of
that's why I think it's
at least it's guaranteed.
It's got leg to stand on in the future once NBN changes style.
Once they slow down.
But I don't know. Maybe NBN will always be a quick advance.
It's hard for people to change first off. But I mean, like, I can see that being a viable deck. You know what I mean? And that's something that I have more fun playing is like a taxing kind of control-y style deck. And yeah, I mean, I think I haven't really thought about it other than now, but I think they might have the cards to do that now.
Yeah,
I think an all tax.
I think they definitely do, but I don't think it's at the tier that.
Oh no! But is anything really?
Yeah.
Like
you'd have to be ignoring a whole lot of good cards and a whole lot of good winning decks to build something like that.
Really
stubborn. Would you like to say anything else about character assassination?
No,
I'm good.
Because as a segue for a fun card to play, character assassination is fun. I found our next agenda to be a very fun include in an NBN deck, and that's the TGT-BT. Too Good to Be True, the 3/1. When the runner accesses it, give them a tag. I find it a very cool way to tag. There was a couple decks that I built that didn't have the breaking news. I would use these in, and they were, more of a kill, a 60-40 style, like 60% I'm going to advance, when the 40% I'm going to kill, and these were the surprise pop because
now you don't have to include snares or anything like that, so you're saving yourself on that.
And they were great because the runner is going to steal agendas. So if he's going to access this one, it's a great way to drop a tag.
Yeah.
I really, really like this card. And when it came out, though, at 3-for-1, I think this one kind of started that.
The really good 3-for-1s.
The 3-for-1 things rolling at the time, right? Like, we looked at it, and a lot of people were like, 3-for-1? I'm just going to run my breaking news instead.
We're all like, why would we use that? They keep printing 3-for-2s. It's like, no more.
So I do like this card a lot.
I love the art on it. Like, that's like my favorite kind of art when they do that digitally. Yeah, in the Bitcoin. I wonder if it says anything, like, or kind of around it.
I'm sure it says.
It's probably some sort of code, yeah.
How's your thoughts?
I like it. I think it's a cool card, and again, if you're going for a kill deck, it's not a bad include. They're certainly not going to see it coming because everybody is expecting the breaking news and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I like it. I think it's a solid agenda for NBN.
The damn Raven just crowed at me as I went by. I should have known it was too good to be true.
That's a Data Raven?
Yeah.
Yeah. Avoid that tag and take the tag there.
There you go.
Did you see this a lot?
I didn't. I mean, I play you a lot, so I saw you mess around with it, but not too much in tournaments.
No, because I think I think a lot of people still like I said, the quick advance, and what's better than to pop a quick breaking news. Right?
I think the issue is that Supermodernism was dominating really early on, and then by the time people switched from Supermodernism, we already had NAPD. We already let's be honest, we've already figured out the perfect agenda suite for NBN.
Yeah, currently,
we all know exactly what it is. We don't have to go over it, and this just doesn't fit in it.
For our new viewers, Supermodernism was a Wayland build back then, and it's all over the internet. You can take a look and see what that is.
Do you think this has a leg to stand on going forward? Because tags are going to become, like, we are seeing more tags.
I've seen a lot of them, yeah.
It's coming. Different ways to tag, or
information overload's brand new.
There's going to be that card I don't know the name of it, but it gives you that extra click every turn. It's the resource. It costs 8, but it's destroyed if you're tagged. I mean, this is a...
Oh, yeah.
You know, this could be a surprise pop.
Rachel something.
So, yeah, it's that girl. But, I mean, we are going to see heavy tags through the lunar cycle. So,
yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's always up in the air with this game. Because with all new cards that we see spoiled, there are a whole bunch that we didn't get to see, you know what I mean? And then they usually balance things out. So, I don't know. I think the card always will be around. I think that for people who are looking to really deal out tags and try and get that really quick kill, it's going to be there in NBN. So,
but you think that going forward, say in a month or something like that, do you feel that every time you play an NBN deck, you should be fearing drawing too good to be true?
You should kind of always fear it.
They always find a way to breathe life into old cards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, before, it was the same thing with Wildside. It was just basically dismiss Wildside as a draw card, and now Noise has got this rebirth going on, and it's just like, oh, well, let's relook at this card. And I have the promo, so.
So, too good to be true. Market research is the last one that we got for NBN. This is a 4-2 again. So they kind of jumped around with the NBN, I guess, making up for the strength of not making up, but compensating for the strength of Astro and stuff like that. So this one was, if the runner is tagged, when you score it, place a counter on it, and it's worth 1 additional point. I know you were playing this one a bunch of times in tag heavy decks. So why don't you talk us through some of your experience with market research?
It's a really, really cool card to have in there. Usually I would use 1 or 2 of them, typically just 1. And then every once in a while, there's just the game where, you know, things are going well. I was tagging a lot anyway, mid-season replacements, all that kind of jazz. But you hit it out, and oh, look at that, they're tagged. The game, I just won, right? They weren't expecting me to be able to win, but there it is, right? They think, oh, he needs 1 more point, or it's a breaking news, or because people think that you have.
I can't believe that you're saying that, because, like, you're the guy that's always like, I want the sure thing, I want the sure thing, I want the sure thing. Like, why wouldn't you just go for 5 for 3? It takes you, like, 2 turns to score it anyway, and it takes you 2 turns to score a 5 for 3, but it's also a 5 for 3.
It's true, but also when they take that one, it's only 2. That's what I want. I don't want them taking 3s out of my hand. That's what I fear.
Yeah, but now you have to include...
basically half over.
Yeah, but now you have to include more agendas in your deck.
No, it's still a 2.
Yeah, but that's a 2. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so now you have to have the other 3 in there.
No, you just put that in instead of a
you still
instead
need
of breaking news.
You still need 19 points worth of agendas.
Yeah.
So this is only 6 points if you put 3 of them in,
no, I only
as
put
opposed
1
to
in.
9. Oh, only 1. Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't go all out in these things. I just did them because...
Well, I didn't read your deck.
Well, I just said it! I literally just said it!
So the strange part about this card, I would say, is that we did see an increased bump in people camping tags for a while during this cycle. So you would think that something like this would have been like almost like an auto include, like, oh, camping tags running all over, you know, let me just get an extra point of agenda out of it.
I think that was the original goal, was like, oh, so you guys are like worried about accounts life and being too powerful. Well, here's something that's worth 3 points for 4 agendas. That should fix it.
But I think right now it does fall to the trap. Like we said, NBN's agenda suite is already set in stone right now. And unless you're playing a fun league night game, you're not going to see market research in tournament play. I do think that is open to change with the high level of tagging that we will see.
Or I don't think we have to go over. I think let's just put a blanket statement out. I think all of these cards could be very good at any point in time. At some point in time.
Well, then there's no point in reviewing anything then.
No, but I'm just saying, like, right now we're talking about a set as a whole. Like, what was it used or was it not? I mean,
but we've also talked before in other ones about, like, going forward.
I just feel like we're spending, like, you know, like a minute talking about how later on they could be useful.
Okay. So that's market research. Going through into the ice now, we have Centuries, and Snoop is our first one here that we're hitting up. Snoop was a very interesting card when it came out, and I thought it was everything that NBN needed to drop punishment. Like, you were, you know, camping power tokens that trashed cards that you got to choose. What more did you want at the time?
And it's not even...
What more did you think
on
you
top
wanted
of that, you just get to, like, no subroutine, no nothing. You just get to see their hand.
Yeah.
It's front loaded.
Like, that's insane. Like, whatever. Like, and now there's friggin'... What's that? What's its nuts? The NBN card that's like, if you play this, I gain $10. Like, this card could come back in a serious way. And we've already said before, if you're paying 5 and it's a strength, or if you're paying 6 and it's a strength 6, it's already good.
Yeah.
If there's even a moderately good ability on it, it's good.
Yeah. So this one
This has 2 phenomenal abilities.
Yeah, it's got no end run, which dissuades a lot of people. But NBN is typically like, you kind of want them to be coming in and be paying for all this stuff in a strength 6.
You would think, though, you would think that you would want them to be coming in, and we have seen interviews with the designer saying that that was the intent, like, to tax somebody through the heavy traces.
Yeah.
But which was very strange, because before this set, I don't think NBN was making the money that they could pour out for all these traces and tax them through. But even, you know, even to something like this that gets popped for so heavy, you can see their cards, yeah, okay. It's such an economy setback in the style of decks that are out there, and you can understand why it wasn't seen.
Yeah.
When it can get beaten easy by a trace, right? Like, I just, you know, I understand why we didn't see it, basically, because this is too expensive right now.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if it was one of the higher trace cards, or there's more cards. There's cards that just keep coming out that just add to the trace, and reoccurring credits for trace, and blah 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 for trace. It's just like, eventually it's going to get to the point where, like, you can't just rely on breaking the trace.
Yeah, it was always a toss-up for me, because, again, heavily considered putting this into quite a few decks, because seeing what the runner's hand has basically lets you know what they're going to be doing for the next few turns, so that's kind of cool. It's good to know. But I was always struggling with that cost of 6, that or Toll Booth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you can't have both.
Yeah,
really.
but then your mana curve, or your ice curve would be way, way too high.
But even at the 2 influence pips there, you know, it got ignored really all over the place.
Yeah, because again, you have Toll Booth, which also slashes for 2.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, it's good, and the card is good. And if
Do you think the trace needed to be higher? I mean,
if the trace
3, right?
yeah,
was just even like 4 or 5, then it would have been like...
we're seeing higher traces these days, but so they could have done something at the start of the cycle. But I think with the popularity of making news, I think you automatically add like 2 credits onto any NBN trace, because you really need to balance that out, you know. So they probably said, oh yeah, you know what, we should make this a 5, but it is a
naked 7, right? Which is not
so they minus 2 off it. But very powerful ability, and I was surprised it wasn't get used. But I think a lot of it goes back to what you said, no end run.
Yeah.
And NBN really needs end runs for the style that they play.
Yeah.
So that's that. Ice Century, it's a tracer. Look out, gingerbread. Next up, we have another Century. This was a tracer. Tracer what?
I don't even want to try. Illict, right?
Illicit.
A 5 for 3. When you res it, you are taking a bad publicity, right?
Spoiler.
Other than that, Muckraker came in with a bang and went out with a trickle, would you say? Whimper.
The only person I knew who ran this was Malice.
Yeah, he ran it for quite a while, actually. He ran it past the point when he should have been running it.
He ran it even while we were dabbling with recording our videos, and he was getting made fun of online for it.
Right, trace 3, trace 2, trace 1, end the run if the runner is tagged. Right, so...
Yeah.
You know,
it works in theory, but at the end of the day, you only have to break 1 subroutine on a card that's strength 3 that they paid 5 for and gave you a bad pub. So you really only, and you're gaining $1 off it.
You know what I get turned away from Muckraker is when I think about something that's very trace heavy. Think about all the high class or tier 1 runners out there that already have one base link.
The link's already out there.
Yeah.
You know, so trace 1 is
nothing.
Already obsoleted,
Nothing. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Muckraker, I don't know if we'll see that guy kicking around.
Yeah.
NBN is just not your home. Very expensive to splash too. 3. I mean, there's other Century choices in faction suites that are out there that are a little more comfortable than that.
Yeah.
On to code gates. NBN has seen their fair share of great code gates, and this is RSVP, a 3 for 4, which is nice to see the higher strength for the lower cost.
For those of you that don't know, it's unyuggable.
The runner cannot spend any credits for the remainder of this run. A card that I saw a lot of.
I still see it.
When it first came out, because everybody, when NAPD was there, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, this makes a perfectly awesome score window for NAPD," and then they were trying to score out from behind there. That was kind of cool. But then after that, I didn't see it much. You saw it?
Yeah, people are still playing it. A lot of actually RP is playing this. Like White Tree, likes this deck. Or likes this card.
Why don't you explain that buzzword?
As far as I know, White Tree is replicating perfection that taxes a lot. So, Ash and Caprice, this thing in that server equals you can't get in, right? So instead of splashing the 2 for Ash, they might splash the 2 for this and have the ice that almost does what Ash does. And then, yeah, you can't pay any money for Caprice. I pay $1, right? Which is really nice.
Yeah.
It does complement a lot of builds. I don't think a lot of the big top tiers are really running it. But you have to expect it. You can't not expect to see an RSVP.
If you play Anarchs, put Imp in your deck. Because nothing frustrates people more than they're rezzing their RSVP and you're like, okay, I won't spend any money. Or before that goes off, I'll clone ship my Imp back into play and then I'll trash your NAPD contract and watch them pull their hair out.
I think it's a great concept for a card.
Oh yeah, flawless concept.
It was needed. It was definitely needed in the game, and it's a great deck building decision card.
And even though it doesn't have an end run on it, if there's an end run after it,
Yeah, then
it's an end run.
Yeah.
Plus, it's only 3 credits,
Yeah.
so it's already a bonus.
it's at a good home.
Yeah.
You want to add anything else to that code gate? One code gate.
Nope.
You're happy with everything that's said?
Yeah.
Perfect. NBN got one barrier, and it was a pretty doozy. Wraparound. If there is no installed Fractor, it gains +7 and the run.
Terrible card.
Well, I still have 1 copy, I think, in my deck. Still in the off chance.
I mean, unfortunately, it did. It was played heavily right around the time that Knights were being played heavily. So, I mean, you didn't have your Fractor out. You just Knighted anyway, and you could get in. But
Yeah, but then they basically sack a card that costs them 2 to res
yep.
and kill your knight. This card, I'm telling you right now, it was the bane of my existence until David came out, and now I kind of laugh in its face.
Well, David just came out, so you just must be laughing.
That's what I said.
recently.
Until David came
Recent
out.
laugh, yeah. It's a,
Sorry, I didn't actually mean to hit your arm.
You got anything else to say about?
No, I still use it. I like it. I think that it's awesome. There's a lot of times where people, again, just play AI breakers, or they have to go searching for the 1 copy of the 1 Fractor that they have just to get around it, and I think that's awesome.
I do like it for that
$2.
fact. I like that spin on it. $2, force them to go find something.
Yeah.
It's almost like what we said before.
It's
about
way
the,
worse than that. It's not even $2 to force them. It's such a meta. It's like a meta-defining card that if you look on any deck, every deck, even if they are AI based, has 2 corroders in their deck. Like go on Netrunner DB right now or Card Game DB and look at any Anarch deck. They have whatever, a couple Crypsis or some Darwin right now, and still 2 corroders.
Yeah. But
And
you still got to go get them, right? That's
yeah,
the
but that's
thing,
that's the thing. The only reason they're in there is because of this card.
Yeah.
Right? Which is, it's the exact same thing as like Plascretes for Scorched Earth. Like,
Well, you still run those?
no, I'm just saying.
I loved it for that fact. I loved it for the fact that this ability was put on a barrier because people aren't really reaching for their barrier first. You know, you'll see a lot of people try and get their, you know, if anything, stretch from a century out. You know, you might try and set up your Yogg on your Yoggosaurus thing just to start poking around and get that thing out. But
This is one card that I think is actually going to get worse with time because of the Grail Ice, which I think is actually going to be pretty popular, and Galahad only reses for 2, and there's a potential for a whole lot of nasty things to happen off that, right? And it's a simple barrier, and you can res that before a lot of other stuff, and so I can, just like you said, not a lot of people are playing their barrier breaker right now, but I think in the very near future, a lot of people are going to be dropping their barrier breaker and running. But then again, people might be running more AI to kind of counter.
It depends.
Yeah, so I don't even know. Like, it's just it's a perfectly built card.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be flushed out because there are ways now to break things without even using icebreakers. So
yeah, or paying tokens or paying credits.
It's great. It's great in the fast advanced NBN world. Put it out. Put an agenda behind it. Advance that agenda once and say go. I mean,
yeah,
so cheap to res, to take that gamble on, and nobody really knows. There's so much cheap end run stuff out there at the time of this card that, you know, it's a gamble to try and build something to put it through. Like, well, maybe they have an inside job to jump it or something, but that's the gamble you take when you play the game. So overall, those are the ice that NBN got. I really think two of them are essential from the set, and 2 of them didn't see play.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's move on to operations. All right. So in talking about operations, we have a double Grey Ops. This was out early in the cycle, so this is one of the first ones we started to see as double actions. Invasion of Privacy. A Trace 2, which you know, could have been
could have been a little higher. He's already paying 2 for the card.
Yeah, if successful, reveal the runner's grip and trash a number of resources or events from it up to a number by which the trace exceeds the runner's link strength. If unsuccessful, take a bad pub.
So the cool thing about this card is the fact that if you're playing, it's making news? No, what's the NBN?
The world is yours.
The world is yours, and you play this and you put all your money into it, there's no way that they can break it. And this is one of the first cards that we saw that actually had a penalty for not even trying, right? So that's like cool right off the bat, because this was like really, really new and shiny. And it kind of teetered off. But now, with, what's that, the current that they have?
The one that makes them, you guess, and then if they play it,
yeah,
you get $10. Or
so basically, that plays for free, right? So you put this in, you're playing that, you put your whole reoccurring credits, then you put all your money into it, then you trash, let's say 2 or 3 cards, and then you get to see that one card that you know they're going to want to play, and you're like, and then if you play this, I'll gain $10. So you basically make your whole investment back, and yeah, you just basically stomp on their face first turn like a jerk.
I think that's a good concept.
It's not my concept. I don't remember who said it, but I heard it on a podcast.
Because you can reveal their whole hand and see what's coming, right?
Yeah. And that's for free, right?
Yeah. Invasion of privacy.
Yeah, I've had it pulled on me. I've never personally used it because I hate taking bad pub, but I've had it used against me a couple of times as usually as Andromeda, who is event heavy, and you lose your hand like pretty fast, courtesy of Jameson here. Yeah, I've been completely shut down early game and mid game before because I took the time to build up a hand and was prepping myself for the perfect indexing run or whatever, and then it's gone. Everything's gone. So yeah, there's that. So I can't say it's a bad card. It's not up my alley, but it is definitely effective. So
I loved Invasion of Privacy when I was playing. This was in my
Really? You played that card?
yeah. This was in my winning deck, and it was so invaluable in 1 or 2 games where I was saving money or influence from Scorched, so I didn't have like a full playset of Scorched. So I would have one Scorch in my hand, Invasion of Privacy, drain them of maybe who knows a shitload of cards.
Oh, S-bombs.
Oh, sorry. And then I would
you can beat that.
and then I would be able to Invasion of Privacy them. That's already if they were tagged from the Scorched. Sorry, Invasion of Privacy. Then I would Scorched Earth. And it worked out very well. You can get lucky with this hand. There are a lot of resources. There are a lot of event-heavy decks, and you can wipe someone's hand out for 2 credits and a couple bucks.
Yeah, let's just dwell on a couple other cards that work well with this. Closed accounts is pretty good against this card. It's like, how are you going to get your money back really fast? Oh, you're going to play operations? Let's just get rid of all those too while we're at it.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just so deadly, but it's very risky too because maybe they don't.
Yeah.
Maybe they're one of those bad draws that they don't have what they need, or they haven't been camping 3 Maker's Eyes or whatnot on you, but
they are. So it works almost every time.
It does. I think Invasion of Privacy is a great card that is underplayed.
And I mean, we're at the point where we know everybody runs Sure Gambles still. Everybody runs Katie Jones. Like, this is never, like, I don't see in the near future this ever not having a target.
You know what's becoming very popular now is Lucky Find.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now you're using
Yeah,
influence.
I forgot.
You're using influence to put Lucky Find in. And if you're able
my
to
God.
pop Lucky Finds, like kill them,
I didn't even think of that. But oh my god. Prepaid Kate was like winning everything. Why was this not used?
Yeah. You just weren't thinking. Straight up.
3 influence, it is heavy to see out of faction. You might as
Yeah, I'm not gonna run it in my Genteki, but
I think a lot of people should go back and look at Invasion of Privacy. It's got a picture of Corpse's teddy bear there.
who doesn't notice the one red eye? Like, how do you not? Something's odd with that teddy bear.
I don't know, man. It works though. Every nanny cam I put in.
And
Sends a button.
it's emitting a Wi-Fi signal. That's weird.
Alright, Invasion of Privacy, last call from you guys.
No, man, I'm good. That was
Target marketing. I remembered.
The next operation was shipment from Sansan. Shipment from Sansan for 1 influence.
Was broken.
Gotta say that it was a card that was definitely out there, was definitely was definitely loved by Cerebral Imaging.
Oh, even just regular, when they were just like, and yeah, I'll score efficiency committee, and now I need no money to beat you.
Yeah,
Get ready,
yeah.
you're on the clock, you have 4 turns. Like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
or now you're broke. You're like, whatever, win anyway.
Yeah.
I liked it because this was another card that sometimes I would tuck in a deck to be ready for account siphon protection.
Yeah.
You know, like I get siphoned off, I can still advance, right? So
Yeah, they think they took away your scoring window.
yeah, it's a perfect. It's basically it's a trade up, right? 2 advancements for 2 clicks. No
money
no
at
install
all.
cost,
Yeah.
no money.
Gives you exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Well, it's still saving you $2. Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, even if you have a crud load of money and you still, I've had a pool of money and still played this card just
why
because you're like,
not?
wow, I might as well play it to get it out of my hand and advance some stuff here. But it does what it needs to do, and these are the tools that people need to look to when they think that you're getting account siphoned too much. You know, like there are cards out there that answer some of these problems. You just have to kind of
Play NBN.
yeah.
Or just be willing to splash. It's only one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 1 pip.
Yeah. So now we're looking at 6 out of faction because you have to splash another NBN card. It's great. Just let's see it. Jump on the train, everybody.
Well, you know what
Play
though? I think
NBN.
that's the great thing about NBN cards is that in faction, some of them are par to good, but they're incredible what they can do to a deck out of faction.
Yeah. How Spyrite proved that point.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about shipments? I think it's pretty. I think the card speaks for itself.
This card will never not
Yeah.
be a thing.
Sign for it, handshaking in.
Right? I did the double
you
negative.
did it.
Right.
The next card on the list was probably NBN's most powerful, most talked about. Well, okay, no.
No.
No. Take all of that back.
Operation.
Operation.
Most talked
Operation.
about,
Operation.
most used operation.
It's all I said. It's what NBN needed,
Yeah.
not what the. Okay, it's like the other card that you're thinking of is what the game
needed. This is what
This
NBN
card is
needed.
what NBN needed. This was their money maker.
Quick cash.
It was. I think it was themed so good.
Yeah.
Sweep, like the sweeps week. It's sweeps week. Gain $1 for each card in the runner's grip. I mean, pulling some of this stuff off, like
Yeah. 2 on an Andy.
Yeah.
First turn.
Yeah.
Like, does it get any better
Yeah,
than
that hurts. Everybody was like, "Well, is this gonna kill Andy?" I'm like, no, but it will be really good for the corp if they do play Andy and have it in their opening hand.
yeah. It's
You're just fueling both the account siphons that I'm holding.
What do you guys see, or what did you see for this out of faction? Any play for it out of faction at all?
No.
Yeah,
Was Malice playing it?
I think he put it in Gen Techie, didn't he? Or no, did he put Celebrity Gift inside?
Oh yeah,
it?
by the way, you don't know, but we can make fun of Malice all we want because he doesn't watch any of our videos.
Oh,
He's
really?
one of our best friends, but no,
Oh,
he doesn't
okay.
support
I
us
didn't
at
know.
all.
That's cool.
I don't even know if he's subscribed yet.
Probably hasn't.
Hey Glitch, you watch our show.
How you doing, buddy? Shout out Glitch. Boom.
Steve Kalmar, check him out.
The I didn't really see it heavy out of faction at all. 2 influence was pretty heavy these days to pay for a card, and every other faction made money, so they didn't need it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, basically, this card on average, you're probably going to be making your $3 anyway.
Yeah.
So paying the 1 influence for a Beanstalk royalties was better. Yeah. Not too much else to say.
But NBN didn't need that.
Definitely needed it. You're 100% on
flushed,
that.
It flushed out a lot of those Beanstalk royalties out of NBN
Yeah.
decks.
Or and finally, people too, where they were like, they took out the what is that, marked accounts. They finally were like, oh, I don't need this anymore. You know what I mean? They found a way to
Not
make some
this
quick
guy.
cash.
And now
He's got it
everybody's back on the marked account train.
Yeah.
I loved marked accounts.
I get to draw a card off of this too? Oh my god.
The next operation we have is we're back to the doubles theme. This is Corporate Shuffle. This is a card that is respected by some and ignored by too many almost. I like it. I like this card a lot. I like what it brings to the table, both in kill decks, both in advanced decks. Right? It lets you flip on the drop of a card.
Yeah.
So
Literally.
I
I was
use...
gonna say on the flip of a coin, but I caught myself.
Caught yourself?
Yeah.
So I keep one of these in my NBN deck. for the purposes of doing just that. If you have a hand, and a lot of times you'll find that you're holding all the tagging stuff you need and you can rifle that off, but then you've got no kill. Well, now you can tag them, then go and search for your kill spells, like just draw a whole fresh new hand. If you are
Mana flooded?
mana flooded. Did I say mana flooded?
No, I was waiting for it though, because I knew you were gonna say
if you're agenda flooded after your mulligan, here you go. This is a good way to get rid of that. I mean, it's not guaranteed because you only got one.
Yeah.
You paid me.
He's
Mana
like,
flooded.
Mana flooded? You're right, you could get mana flooded. Should I talk about that?
Yeah. But I think that having one copy, maximum 2 in your deck, if you really want to go for the sure thing, is good. But if you've built your deck pretty balanced, then probably 1 is enough. And there are games, again, where I draw it and I've got no use for it because everything's going as planned. But better to have and not need, right?
Yeah, when that cerebral imaging is like kind of teetering on no cards, you're like, oh, I'll put 25 back in my deck.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think at least 1 copy should be in most decks. It's a saver. It comes through in a pinch that you know, when you need that quick change up, when you do get too many agendas in your hand, you can just pump them all back in. Or it's, you know, it's a quick way to get a fresh hand of cards. It's not saying shuffle 2 in, get 2 out.
Yeah,
right? Like
it's shuffle whatever
you have, put in and
pull 5.
Re-up. So you're getting a potential like 5 fresh cards for nothing.
Are you saying re-up because The Wire?
No,
that's why I say it.
Great show.
Great
If you
show.
haven't
Excellent
watched The
show.
Wire.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
I can't say enough good things about Corporate Shuffle, but like I said, you know, put 1 in your deck and watch it save the day.
Yeah. Yeah, just try it. I mean, it's 1 card slot, go for it. And it's helped me way more than it's ever hindered me, so I think it's worth it at that point.
I'm not a big fan.
No? Talk about it then.
There's just not much to say. It's just I don't. Meh. I'd rather just
Lose?
No, I think if you properly build a deck that you shouldn't ever really.
You don't need draw in a deck?
You
No,
always
it's
succumb.
not draw. It's just trade off. Like yeah, if you're gonna be like my play style is I always draw up to 5. So like that's first and foremost with my play style. I always have 5 cards in my hand. So this is never gonna be a draw for me. It would be a straight trade, and I don't believe in putting cards in my deck that I don't want at any given time. So I agree that there's you could get mana flooded if that's the term we're using.
You're using. You're putting it directly into my
I
mouth.
don't even play that game.
You could get agenda flooded, but I mean, like at a faction, that's exactly what Jackson's for. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is.
I think that you know that this card is like you know, quality time diesels, right? They're cards that can get you draw.
I guess, yeah.
Right. So if you don't play draw, that cards like that, but don't you say you play wild side and you always use that to draw? So you're already burning.
I just started playing wild side.
That's
and
runner.
I'm sorry.
This is the runner. This is a corp. We're talking about 2 different things.
No, you saying you don't use draw?
No, I didn't
No,
say
you're
that
saying
at
he
all.
always has 5 cards in his hand.
I always
so it'd be a
draw
trade.
up, so this wouldn't be
You'd
a
be
draw
paying
card
2 clicks
for
for just to exchange those 5 for another 5. But
Yeah.
that could be helpful sometimes.
me. Yeah, maybe.
You
But I
knock
mean, like,
that.
but that's exactly what I do with Jackson. I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let's just, you know, pay 3 clicks and get 6 new cards, and then we'll play with those, right?
Yeah. But there's but then there's the toss versus this back in
At the end of the day, I don't play NBN. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that this is necessarily worth a splash. Like,
No.
I can see.
No,
if I was
At 2
playing-
pips, I don't think.
No,
if I was
that's
playing
too hard.
NBN, yeah, you're right. I might throw 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as kind of like that extra slot,
It's,
but it's not making any other faction. I don't think.
No, it's not. It's not out of faction, but it's a great one-up in faction.
I definitely should have prefaced that beforehand. It's not. Yeah.
So that's the operations completed there. Moving into the assets, we can hit the king right off the bat. He was in the first pack of the data cycle that you know, you're seeing everywhere. This is Mr. Sir J. Howard.
Esquire.
Esquire.
The first.
I don't know what we can say right now that
Hasn't
you
been
haven't
said a million
already
times
heard about
over.
Jackson Howard. I mean, you probably have played him in a deck. You probably have played against him in a deck. You've probably been frustrated by him.
We'll just go off this. We normally rate on a scale of 5. Jackson Howard is sitting at a high 7.
Really quickly, he entirely fixed the game for the corp side. Because after that first mulligan, if you were agenda flooded or if you were basically just buggered in any way, shape, or form, you had him as a potential to come out and just start drawing your cards, which you could discard and then put back in your R&D without them stealing them. So this is the best designed card for a card game that I have ever seen. And I think that's probably going to hold true for a lot of you out there who know exactly what he does for the game. And that's why he is splashed in almost every single deck.
Yeah, I love the design aspect of him, that you use him. He's a very powerful ability. Because he has 2, right? He's there for your draw effects, two for 1 click. But when you use his main ability to shuffle the 3 cards back in, you remove him from the game. So essentially, there's 3 Howards out there that you have the ability to do this 3 times, and that's it. I think that was perfect. If this was a trash to use, that would have been so busted.
And we've all been at match point, made that $11 run through the remote server only for them to sack a Jackson Howard and return 3 agendas from their archives.
Yeah.
That's when you want to flip the table, and that's why he's a 7.5 out of 5.
So the only thing that, I'm not sure if we've said it before, but you and I talked at length about this, is that I really wish that Jackson Howard would have been neutral. If he was neutral with no pips, because every single corporation could make use of him, and now it's almost like 3 influence or 2 influence that you're probably never going to see.
No, I like the idea of God cards in specific factions.
I think it has to be that way, because I think that's what balances it out as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you want to use him out, his ability is good, and it's going to cost you something to
yeah, but this don't win you no games.
My
All it does
personal
is stop you from being just completely destroyed.
My personal opinion
bad luck.
is that he should still be NBN, and instead of making him neutral, I think every other faction should have a card that splashes for 1 that's as iconic as him. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. Not necessarily him or mimics his ability, but something that almost every faction wants.
Yeah,
but weren't they setting up with that? Like, what are the other executives splashing for? Like,
well, way more than friggin' 1. Like, we got Caprice Nisi at 4. We got Hero and Haas
I don't think
at 5.
she's an executive, though.
Yeah, they're executives.
Who's the golfer?
No. Caprice
Because Chairman Hero was the executive.
It was the golfer. What was her nuts?
Yeah, she's not an executive, is she?
Yeah, she's a HB executive.
Yeah,
and Elizabeth Mills was the other executive that I can think of.
I can't think of Gentechi's chief executive at the point.
Wasn't it?
I thought it was Chairman Hero, wasn't it?
Chairman Hero?
Yeah, no, that's his That's the expensive one. That's the 5.
Maybe Gentechi doesn't come cheap. Maybe NBN is cheap. Maybe Gentechi's got a price.
I like that design. Like, I mean, yeah, I play Gentechi. I obviously hate having to spend the 3 on it, but I never sit there and go, man, I wish it was neutral. This card's not good enough to be splash worthy. Like, no,
it's totally. But the thing is that the fact that it is almost required.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Deck,
yeah.
Right? Then it should have just been neutral and just call it something, maybe not Jackson Howard, but like some kind of floating executive kind of thing.
I honestly, I think they probably would have played with that aspect of the card, and I think, to me, if you change anything on this card, it becomes way too powerful.
Agreed.
Right? Like, obviously,
I don't agree with that.
If you made this neutral, it would be like...
It's already in every deck.
Yeah, but you have to pay the price
to pay for it.
To include that.
It's clearly an NBN card. Like, no question, it's clearly... This game, if you listen to any interviews with the designer, it's more about theme than mechanics. Like, they basically build a card off of theme, and then they balance it into the game. So this card is built for NBN.
Yeah, but my argument just rests on every corp deck needs it.
Yeah.
But it costs influence, so it just doesn't make sense to me. You know, I don't know. Like, I'm glad it's 1 influence pip. If it was 2 influence pips, then it would be...
Well, here's one that
you still need it. Like, but then everybody would play NBN because Jackson Howard was NBN.
You know what card I saw a lot was green level clearance.
I'm gonna give you an opposite. Do you think Data Sucker should be neutral? Because you basically think it's a god card for one. You're splashing for it. Everybody splashes for it.
But there's a difference there because you don't. There's no bad luck running situation that fixes. This fixes the bad luck corpse situation. This fixes the mana flood, right? That's what it does.
Mm.
So
yeah, but we're talking about two cards that go in almost every deck.
Yeah, but you're comparing apples to oranges at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like runners to corporations.
Yeah.
No, I think, but you know what though, man? I'll tell you that I think that you have a choice to be sometimes flooded and stuff off a design build. Jackson Howard was released, and I can say that over the course of this cycle, I have still built decks without Jackson Howard.
Okay.
And that's obviously it's my preference, but I mean, like, if you're running a lot of 3-point agendas, you're cutting down your agenda diversity.
Yeah,
and you're choosing,
and
you don't.
That's perfectly fine, but
not
everybody wants to stick a bunch of 3-point agendas in their deck, right?
Right.
And even then, he's even better in that situation because maybe you need one, don't have it, use Jackson to get it. Maybe you have too many, need to get rid of it, use Jackson to do that, right? So
I just think at the end of the day, he's not. I mean, what it should have said is on top of all of this that you can advance him, and then for every advancement token, you get another card back. That's how he would be.
Can you advance him face
playable.
up?
No, face down, obviously. That's how he'd be playable to me.
Really, I think
that's why he needs it. He needs that.
He could be rezzed and worth 6 agenda points upon scoring him.
I'm under the impression that this card was perfect. I like the res cost. I like the trash cost. I like the double abilities. I like the 1 influence. I like where it sits.
Even though he can't be advanced?
Even though he can't be advanced. Maybe especially I like it. I don't like advancing. So we have one aspect, we have another aspect, and another aspect.
I'm kidding about that. He's way too powerful.
It's still a 7 out of 5 card, though.
The only way he could be better is if you could bluff that it's an agenda. That's the only way.
It's still an amazing card. That's my only little qualm with it. Is the neutral thing.
A 5 cost asset is next. City Surveillance. Give the runner a tag unless he or she pays $1 at the beginning of their turn.
Well, that sounds annoying. How much does that cost to res?
5.
Ooh.
How much does it cost to trash? You mean 3?
It's not balancing out.
No. Something's not adding up. I didn't see it. Did you see it?
No.
Didn't see it.
Maybe this goes in our
that crazy
future taxing build.
Yeah.
Where we're running like 3 of these and like
3 character assassinations,
encryption protocols and stuff like that. 3 character assassinations.
When you look at a card like this, I like to look at each piece of the card and try and sometimes think like more reasoning behind why things were set at certain levels. To me, this card, I can't see a use for it right now or even in the next little bit because it doesn't balance for me. I mean, spending 5, it trashes for 3. NBN doesn't really create the walls of ice to keep things out, so you can't protect this for very long.
But that doesn't mean they can.
No, but it doesn't. The splash cost is too high to put it anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's not high, it's only 4.
So you could have 1 copy and still have plenty left over.
You have 15 influence, 4 is nothing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 3 of these in your deck.
No, not me, man.
3 of these, 3 Jackson Howards, and what can we put in?
I don't think this card speaks to me on any level. I mean, I think it's a very interesting way to tag the runner. I love that you're forcing them to pay the $1 on their turn, avoid the tag and stuff like that, but I just don't think it's going to be on the table very long.
No, if they nip it quick, which they should, you paid more than they did. So it's not smart.
Well, you paid 4, they paid 5. It's only $1 difference, and they made a run. You actually even out. It's a wash.
No, you pay 5.
You pay 5. right? You res at the beginning of their turn. They have to pay $1, so now they're at $1. Now they have to make a run, and then they have to pay $3 to trash it. They've paid $5. It's a wash. If it sits for one turn, then they're paying $6.
Then yeah.
But that's exactly what you do.
And that's if they
technically they've played.
If they have nothing else on the table for tag avoidance.
Yeah. It's not terrible. Like, it's at the end of the day, we've said it before. NBN kind of has its mashy, machiney cogs and gears going. This doesn't fit in that deck. But I mean, I think that I'm pretty excited to see maybe if we can build that kind of taxing big ice, you know, where we're looking at. That's my favorite style of deck to play and build. So maybe that's the NBN deck that I start messing around with, mucking around with.
I would like to see it because I don't think it exists at this point, and I don't see this card sitting anywhere in the near future right now.
I'm gonna try it.
Go ahead.
Last one.
The last one we have is another unique one. City Surveillance wasn't unique. Guess you could have a whole bunch of them. Broadcast Square. An asset. Whenever you are about to take at least one bad publicity, you're going to trace 3. If successful, avoid taking the bad pub.
So it's the inverse now. It's 2 credits and 5 to trash. So
I love the high trash cost.
This card is going to be so invaluable soon, I think.
yeah, once bad publicity starts to
Man, it's the Anarchs. Like, literally, the new big box is like, take it. Like, just take it. There's no more tiptoeing around it. The one ID, you start with it. The other card is, if they have it, it costs 0, you pay 4 clicks, and they have another one.
And now we're talking about the future now?
I'm not... You're not... That's not what he said. Don't combo it with old cards.
Oh, sorry, you said the near soon, which is like a full cycle away.
I'm not saying this card is bad now, and eventually I think that it could very well be good. I'm saying that this card is good now. It does exactly what you need it to do. It's cheap, it's expensive to trash, and it's only going to get better.
Okay, well, I'll say that this card is bad now.
I don't think it's bad now. I think if you want to avoid... You were the one who was running the blackmail deck. That deck
So
sucked.
everyone should run this card because of one deck that I'm running.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying the card does exactly what you want it to do. I'm not saying it's
Nobody's
in every deck.
dishing out bad publicity enough to be putting this card in a deck.
But they thought they were going to.
It's like they're married.
Well, what would you like to say about this card?
Nothing. I don't like it.
Well, see, why are you even here?
Yeah, I don't like it right now.
Now, except if you're using Broadcast Square, let me know. Throw me something in the comments below. I would love to be proven wrong at the moment. But that's all I had to say about that. I mean, it's unique, so I don't even know if you obviously you're not going to have more than one kicking around.
Yeah, as things stand, the current game state, and especially at the state when this card was released. I mean, it
was late in the set.
Yeah, but there's not enough bad pub being dished out. Right? If you were resin your illicit ice, that's the only time that I would consider adding this to the deck. But.
See, that's my opinion. I think that the designers thought bad publicity was going to be more of a thing, and I think if that actually took off, this would be I'm not saying it's used and it's amazing. I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to avoid bad pub, that's a phenomenal way to do it.
Yeah, it just sucks because you're giving the bad pub to yourself and then initiating a trace against them, even though you gave it to you. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's great if you want to try and not let the bad pub happen. Cool, but I mean, I wouldn't put it in.
Yeah,
I wouldn't build a deck to need that right now. So
yeah, it's almost weird, right? Yeah, trace, if successful, avoid taking it.
It's cool. It's so themey and fun. I love it.
I almost think it should have said if unsuccessful, because then it gives the runner a reason to bump that higher. You know?
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If it's unsuccessful or if successful, oh yeah, because
you take the bad. If it's unsuccessful, you take the bad pub.
Yeah.
But if it's unsuccessful, you should take the bad pub.
And another bad pup?
And another bad pup.
Ooh, bad card at that point.
Yeah.
Let's turn a mediocre card into a bad card.
Let's turn it into a playable card.
All right, so speaking of that and putting a rating on things and summarizing this set of NBN cards, I would like to start on this end of the table, Captain Surprise.
Let's get you
Captain Surprise?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
he needs 5 minutes to divide the cards up into cards.
No, I'm good.
Should we go over here?
You want to do it first?
You want to dig for the prize in the cereal? What number are you pulling
No,
out?
I'm good.
Well, seeing as there's only 3 cards, I said that I couldn't play them all at the moment.
Honestly, you guys might be surprised that I'm calling it a 3. Solid 3.
3 out of 3, eh? Good job.
3 out of 5.
Oh.
It's a solid 3 out of 5. Almost a 4 out of 5, but there's a ton in there that's just not usable.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with... I might go on the higher end of the scale and go 4. Just because I really like... Yeah, RSVP I love the idea. Snoop, hate Muckraker. Too Good to Be True, Character Assassination. There's a lot of cards that I think... there's more cards that I like than I don't.
Yeah.
There's only 3 cards that I don't necessarily absolutely love.
I should clarify for mine too, like, even if Jackson Howard wasn't in there, it would still be a 3, but I don't think the inclusion of just Jackson Howard turns it into anything.
Yeah, God card doesn't make it a God set.
Yeah, it doesn't make it a God set. But but super high 3. That's, yeah.
I have to rate them a 4 because this, I said like at the beginning, well, we all said at the beginning, I don't know how you can say that a rating of 3 puts this into a top tier, but we said that these cards here filled the gaps what NBN needed in faction. It gave it the boost it needed to become a top tier deck, a top tier build. You can't go from middle of the pack to top tier without in faction support.
True.
Uh,
But I mean, remove AstroScript from the core set, now you've got nothing. So,
Oh,
there's that.
Uh-oh, we're getting a lot of emails.
I think you got Sansan.
Yeah, but no AstroScript.
I think you had Data Raven.
I love Data Raven.
Yeah.
Then why'd you bring that up at me? It's not even in this. But only because AstroScript exists.
He brought up Data Raven and he started to blush.
Yeah, 'cause
I love Data Raven.
doesn't want to be on record talking.
I
about
love
it.
when he plays Data Raven and I'm just like, well, it's middle of the game. We'll just run through it 9 times and win.
I think it's a 4 because it deserves to be a 4. It fixed what NBN needed. It added so much to the faction. It added so much to the game. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Strong
are we going to do
cards.
the scale again? The scale
The
analogy?
scale, yeah. You could, but it's still on the positive side.
Yeah, but you're saying it's dead in the middle. Like you're neutral.
No, I said it was like a high 3.
Like 3 to me is like a bleh. Like it's bleh bleh. You know what I mean?
Well, no, but as a whole set, yeah, this kind of like it's okay. It basically it fixed things that shouldn't have needed fixing.
But you know
Right?
what?
You're hard to please.
I am hard.
You know
to
what?
please.
In
How
that
does
kind
Emily
of,
live with you?
in that kind of aspect of it, though, don't you think that everything should be as like you should be giving everything a 3, right?
If you've noticed a lot of my reviews, I do give a lot of things 3s.
Oh,
Why
the
don't you
Shaper
just,
review
like-
was a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, because I
Right.
can't help it if they crap the bed.
Right. So I mean, like, does good design have half cards with
You're the
I
guy
look
that
up
was.
above
You
and
were.
then
You had
half
this
good.
giant speech about how card games need mediocre cards because of blah 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 and blah blah.
Yeah, power
blah.
curve, yeah.
Yeah, the power curve speech, the monologue.
Yeah,
that
so
you go
when
through.
by me giving a set of the 3 that it deserves is saying, good job, Fantasy Flight. I don't know how to... I don't want a power curve like this. I don't want every card to be fantastic because then it's
They
just...
don't know what you're doing. You're facing them. You
Oh,
gotta go.
I think
to
that
the side.
I think that they can.
No,
get
they
the
can't
depth
get that.
Of, no,
they
they
can't.
can't
Because
get
we're
it.
not doing it in 3D yet. That's next week.
take it easy, slow.
You guys kill me.
Like,
You
wait,
kill us.
Too bad you couldn't scrub that on the YouTube.
Terrible
Scrub it
rating.
back and forth.
Everything's a 5, guys. I didn't say 5.
It's all 5s. Everything's perfect.
Well, that's the world we live in. Black and white. Very
Good or bad, it's a
very
good set.
Pleasanton.
I live in a world of innumerable grace. So there's that.
3 days of it. Guys, let me know what you think before this goes too far out of control. Throw the comments down below as usual. Get involved in the discussion. What do you rate this NBN suite? Let us know. Like and subscribe if you haven't already at the beginning. I don't know why you didn't then. We gave you time to do it.
Plenty of opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Like I said.